I am very excited, actually, very excited. And I'm excited for Ryan and Amanda. This is it's a whole new world for them.
Hey, Leah, Maci, and Catelynn. Thank you so much for talking with me ahead of the Sweet 16 season of Teen Mom, the next chapter. I cannot believe the show and some of your kids are already 16. Isn't that just nuts?
Unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into your storylines for this season, I would love to kind of take a little bit of a trip back to when you were 16. Is there any message that you would want to send to yourself when you were that age and dealing with so much of a life change? Maci, do you want to start us off?
Oh man, I think I would want my 16-year-old self to know that I need to be a priority and that and that self-care is a real thing. Yeah, I think that would be it. Probably
So
not.
true.
And just don't be so hard on yourself.
Yes.
What about you, Catelynn?
Educate yourself more about the decision that you are making and to seek some outside representation for yourself.
Yeah. And Leah, what about you?
I think I would tell myself at 16 to focus on herself, her goals, dreams, and ambition, and really hone in on that. Yes, the dating world will come around. Guys will try to swoop you up, and you'll get involved in a social life and maybe into experiences that aren't, that have an open communication with your parents. Always live and learn, but most importantly, focus on your goals, focus on yourself, your self-worth, your confidence, and
Be selfish.
yeah, be selfish. Be selfish at 16 and 17 years old, please.
If only we had a time machine, right?
Yeah.
That's all
Well,
we're teaching our kids.
Exactly. And we are going to get into that. Maci, especially because Bentley is turning 16 this season. He's getting a car. I mean, what's it like to witness him reach this milestone that was very different for you?
It is crazy. It's very surreal. And honestly, like he's a really great kid, and it's not like he's hard to parent, but this stage of parenting is extremely tough because you have to let go a little bit, and it's just very, very scary. Very scary.
Yeah. How is it having Ryan a little bit more by your side as you reach this more difficult stage of parenting? Because your co-parenting this season is the best we've ever seen it.
Yeah, that's been awesome. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but just like between like the four of us now, I think we all feel so much more supported in parenting. Whereas I don't feel like me or Taylor probably ever felt like supported in co-parenting. So
Yeah.
it's been really, really nice.
And there's another little kiddo joining your family. How are you feeling about the new addition?
I am very excited, actually, very excited. And I'm excited for Ryan and Amanda. This is it's a whole new world for them this season of life. So I'm excited for them.
Oh, that's going to be awesome to watch. And Leah, turning the spotlight onto you. I am so excited to watch Ali and Aleeah take on high school. That is so nuts. Tell me a little bit about sending them off on this new chapter.
I mean, I was nervous. I know how my years in high school were spent. But I'm really proud of who they're becoming and who they'll be. We really keep that open dialogue between one another. And I mean, they're going to make their own mistakes. They're going to learn their own lessons. Do I think it will look anything like mine at 16 and 17 years old? Absolutely not. But whatever cards were dealt, we'll navigate that and we'll work through it together as a family. I'm their mama at the end of the day. Yes, I have rules. Yes, we have boundaries. But it's to keep you safe and protect you. And I really, really love the relationship I have with them. So they're gonna be okay. They're gonna do a lot. It's gonna be a lot different than I was at 16 and 17.
And that beautiful open communication you have with them, we get to see that a little bit this season, especially with Ali. I know you've been back and forth a little bit about her independence and finding that balance. What was that like for you this season?
Oh, it's so hard. It's very challenging. It's very challenging to navigate, giving her her freedom, teaching her to use her voice, but then finding balance in, all right, this is it's been a challenge. I there aren't even really words I can even express to I would say, I don't know, sometimes I feel angry, sometimes and I know sadness lies underneath anger. I understand all of that, but this is something that our family faces every single day, and we're just doing the best that we can. And most importantly, I want Ali to have that independence and navigate life and know that even if that looks a little different, it's okay. It's okay. And that's ultimately where we're at, and we're navigating it, and we'll be all right. We'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Kate, you and Tyler are also navigating some challenges this season as you deal with Carly's adoptive parents blocking you and kind of the breakdown of communication there. Tell me a little bit about what was the most difficult part of that for you, how you were handling that.
I think the most difficult part for me was it brought up a lot of PTSD and a lot of trauma that I had to re-experience all over again. And I think that was the hardest, trying to learn how to navigate that. And I just really reached out to other birth moms that I know and talked to them. I reached out to a lot of adoptees and got their perspectives. And so, I leaned on my support system, during that time, and obviously Tyler too. But I think that was the hardest thing, of just realizing like this is something that I'm going to carry forever, even no matter if I work on it for years and years and years. It can always just come up whenever it wants to, and that's a hard, thing to face. But, I'm just trying to do the best that I can every day and do the right things and keep speaking up for adoptees. And I think that it really is what, has helped me a lot, is putting all of the anger, sadness, and hurt into something positive. And so that's what I'm trying to do.
Have there been any developments there with either the communication or with how you feel about the communication there?
No, there still is zero communication. I'm still blocked. I was told that I can no longer send gifts to their house anymore either. So it's just been kind of, now I'm just like living in what ifs. And I always never wanted to live in what ifs. That's why I chose an open adoption for me and for her. And now here I am with all of the what ifs. But I think, all I can do is spread adoption awareness for adoptees. I can use my platform to let adoptees speak about their experiences and what their wishes and wants were as children. And I think, Tyler and I are launching a podcast that drops in February. And that's a big motivation for us, is getting adoptees on there and speaking about what adoptees go through, the negative effects of going through closed adoption. And it'll bring just a different light to our lives and helping people too.
Yeah. What do you think is the biggest misconception there whenever you're discussing this issue with people who have maybe not experienced the same process?
I think the biggest misconception would be that adoption is just all positive and all light and all beautiful. There's another side of that where there's a lot of pain and hurt and sorrow, and not only for the birth parents, but also for the adoptees themselves. They experience a lot of, trauma and hurt and sadness and what ifs and questions and, identity issues and abandonment issues. And in order to help adoptees feel secure within themselves, there needs to be openness. And it's statistically proven that that is what benefits the adoptee the most, is openness. Because then all those questions can be answered. So, there is good in it, but there's also a lot of hurt and pain.
Yeah. Well, I think that all of your stories are really going to impact the people who are watching this season. So thank you so much for talking with me about it and for sharing your stories this season.